lesson 13.5, converting the metric units of capacity. Now, a lot of the things that you're going to see today are going to be very similar to what you've seen yesterday. We have 1 liter, which is abbreviated with a capital L, equals 1,000 milliliters, which is abbreviated with a lowercase m followed by a capital L. Those are new, you haven't seen those abbreviations, but these two, liters and milliliters, are going to be the primary focus of capacity, because that's what we normally use. Is you'll either find things in liters or milliliters. So then we have 1 milliliter equals 100 deciliters, 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters, 1 centiliter equals 10 milliliters. All those are different things that we could figure out using the formula that we looked at yesterday. This part right here is really important, and I want to focus in on this part. This is what we're looking at. This progression from kilo to hecto to deca to our base unit to deci, centi, followed by milli is really what I need you to understand from all of this metric stuff. This is the most important thing that you can remember, this progression of how it goes, that kilo means it's the biggest, milli is the smallest. Just as before, if you're going from larger to smaller, you're going to multiply, and smaller to larger, you're going to divide. So if you have centimeters or centiliters, and you're converting it to kiloliters, going from smallest to largest, so you look down here, and you're going to divide. Once again, the difference between every step is multiplying or dividing by 10. So if I'm going from here to here, I'm going to divide by 10. If I'm going from here to here, I'm going to divide by 10, and then I'm going to divide by 10 again. So if I divide by 10 and then divide by 10 again, that's the same thing as dividing by 100. When we get to the guided practice, I'm going to show you that again in just a little bit different way. If I'm going from deciliters to hectoliters, that's I look at how many steps away is that. That's 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. So I'm going to multiply because I'm going from larger to smaller. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm going to divide because I'm going from smaller to larger. And I'm going to divide by 10, then by 10, then by 10. And that's not going to be dividing by 30. That's not the same thing. It's actually going to be dividing by 1,000. And one way you can look at that is there are 3 steps. So that's dividing by 10 to the 3rd power. 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10, which equals 1,000. It also is 1 followed by 3 zeros. If it was going from kilo to milli, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps away. So that would be, and we're going from larger to smaller, so we're going to multiply. So that's going to be multiplying by 10 or by a 1 followed by 6 zeros. So that's going to be 1 million. Let's look at this example over here. 8 liters equals how many milliliters? Well, I take the number of liters, and then I look at how many steps away from liters are we to milliliters. So go back to my chart. We're here, and it's 1, 2, 3 steps away. So I multiply 8 times 10 for the deciliters, times 10 for the centiliters, and times 10 for the milliliters. 8 times 10 times 10 times 10 is 8,000. What I was talking about before is 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10. It's also the same thing as a 1 with 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros after it. And we all know that 1 with 3 zeros is 8,000. Is 1,000. 8 times 1,000 equals 8,000. So 8 liters equals 8,000 milliliters. Let's look at the guided practice. 275 liters equals how many milliliters? I'm going from larger to smaller, so I'm going to multiply. So I take my 275 and I know that it's 3 steps away, so I'm going to multiply by 10, by 10, by 10. I count here 1, 2, 3 zeros, so therefore my answer will end in 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So 275 times 10 is 2,750. I take that answer, multiply that by 10, and that's 27,500. And then I take that answer, multiply by 10, and that gives me my final answer of 275,000. So 275 liters equals 275,000 milliliters. Let's look at number 2. 34,000 milliliters equals how many liters? Well, I take my number of milliliters and I divide it by 10 to the third power. I do 10 to the third power because there are 3 steps between milliliters and liters. So that's the same, 10 to the third power is the same thing as taking it 34,000, dividing it by 1,000. And when I do that, I get an answer of 34. So there are 34,000 milliliters equals 34 liters. But here's another way of doing it. I have 34,000 and I'm dividing, so I know I'm going to get a smaller answer. And I know I'm 3 steps away, so all I have to do is do 1, 2, 3, and I found my answer. So you can cross off zeros for the number of steps away you are. Just like in multiplication, for every step that I am away, I can add a 0. So I took my 275 and I was 3 steps away, so I added 3 more steps. 3 more zeros. It's just a little trick that you can do if you're a little confused right now. If you have any questions, make sure you ask, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.